Okay, so now we have some of my game systems that I've kept in their boxes. I've learned that it's a pretty good idea to keep boxes for these. Plus, they're really cool looking, and I just, as a collector, something you want to keep. These all have their original systems in them, unless some of them are empty. I have them hooked up, but these are all the original systems. This is the Panasonic 3DO, the FZ10 version, which I believe was the last model they produced before they phased it out. I got this for pretty cheap from Best Buy. They were closing them out, and it's really cool because they had a whole bunch of games for really, really cheap. And it's a pretty fun system. Had some pretty cool games in it. Had a whole lot of bad games, but it had a lot of games that were pretty fun. And that's how I got a lot of systems, is when they were old and dying, I got them for cheap. This is the Sega CD, the second version. There's the top loader that I mentioned. This was meant for the redesign of the Sega Genesis, which was a smaller version, although this came with an adapter that extended the base so that it could fit the old Genesis, the wider Genesis. This I actually bought when it was brand new. It was full price. It was like $210 or something like that. I was really excited at the time and got some games for it, and I had a lot of fun with the system. It also, kind of like the 3DO, had a bunch of crap games on it, but it had a handful of really, really fun games. And this was the top loader system, so it was a little more reliable. The games, started up better than the front loader, although it took up a whole lot more space. And I actually, I prefer the front loader to this one. But this box. I mean, I don't know if you can tell. This is huge. This thing's heavy, and it's no wonder it wasn't very popular. This is the Sega Master System. This was their 8-bit counterpart to the Nintendo, the NES. And this is a system that I had when I was a kid. I wanted one of these, and I loved it. I played the heck out of it. A whole lot of good games for it, like Thunderblade and Afterburner, Outrun, etc. This box is pretty cool. I like it because it's got this handle on the top, and do have the system in there. I don't have it hooked up right now, but it's one of my favorite systems. This is the Sega Genesis. This is when it was still packaged with Altered Beast. I got this with my own money I saved up that I had from doing odd jobs, and I loved it. This was the first video game system I actually bought with my own money, and it just blew me away. I loved it. And this was the promo at the time to mail in and get a free game, and so that's why the UPC is cut off of that. But that's my original system. The system doesn't really work so much anymore. It got really funky, bad picture. That's my cat. This is the 32X. Obviously you can see I'm a big Sega fan. This was the quasi 32-bit system that plugged in the top of the Genesis, and I actually did used to have all these hooked up. The Sega CD, Genesis, the old one, and the 32X. This thing was a gigantic monstrosity when it was sitting next to my TV. I really enjoyed the 32X. Had a lot of cool games for it. The colors were very vibrant and really nice looking, but like the Sega CD 3DO, you had a bunch of bad games and only a few good games. But the good games were really, really good. I think that the 32X version of Afterburner was the best version ever made for a home system. Looked really, really good. Star Wars Arcade, Virtua Racing, Shadow Squadron, a lot of fun games. Colibri, really cool. Very rare kind of shooter. This is my PlayStation 1. I don't have it hooked up anymore because I have a PS2. But I like the 3DO. I got this towards the end of its life. Didn't play it as much as some of my other systems. Although I did like it. There was a handful of games that I really, really liked for it, like Driver and Driver 2 and Hinder, stuff like that. Pretty different game system, although I didn't really do a whole lot with it. Then we have the Jaguar Atari's 64-bit interactive multimedia system. There's the box. I paid $100 for it. Played it a lot. I actually do enjoy this system. Same thing. A lot of bad games, handful of good games, but the good games were really, really good. Alien vs. Predator, Tempest 2000, Defender 2000. There was a motorcycle racing game called Super Burnout. It was a lot of fun to play. But yeah, a lot of games were pretty ugly for it. The control pad was really awkward and big and weird. And so yeah, no surprise that it failed. But there's this Jaguar CD, and yes, that system does work. It's pretty notorious for crapping out, and this system is getting kind of rare and is known for not working. But mine actually does work. Odd thing is though, the Jaguar CD fits on top of the Jaguar in the cartridge slot, and then it has a new cartridge slot to play the games. Except the cartridge slot on this one is kind of funky. The picture doesn't look very good when you play a cartridge game on it, but the CD games look really good. Now I have some empty boxes because these are still hooked up. This is my Sega Dreamcast. This is the only system that I ever bought the very day it came out. And I bought this game on $9.99 and got a copy of Hydro Thunder and loved it. One of my favorite systems. Sega Saturn I bought back in the day. It was still, you know, in production when I bought it. It obviously wasn't very popular, but they were still making games for it, and I got a lot of fun out of that game. Also one of my favorite systems. I still have that hooked up. This is my PS2 and Xbox 360 boxes. Obviously I have these systems both hooked up. I don't play the PS2 as much as the 360, but kind of the same thing. I got it towards, you know, the end of its life, which apparently is still living on. And the 360 obviously is my most modern system. I don't have a PS3 or a Wii, and I'm not really interested. So there's my game boxes. I just realized that I don't know where my original Xbox box is. I know I have it somewhere, but I do have that system hooked up, and more on that later.